Marketing, and welcome to the Mojo Show. We're live on the air with Ed Skirka, who's going to teach us all about public speaking tips. So, how to get paid to be a keynote speaker, how to get paid to be a leadership keynote, how to get paid to be a motivational speaker. He's going to talk all about that. He's considered one of the top Toastmasters. If you're familiar with Toastmasters, he actually has won an esteemed award here called he's achieved the Distinguished Toastmaster credential in 2003. He is a member of Toastmasters International, and he essentially has one of the highest credentials available for Toastmasters, and he has been featured in such companies as Pfizer Pharmaceutical, also TechStrong, Raytheon, Bank of America. He's also been featured at Harvard Medical School, as well as Brown University, as well as MetLife, and many, many other amazing organizations. And he's trained over 3,000 participants in his course called Public Speaking Workout. So he also speaks at schools all around the country, but he's really going to teach you about what does it take to be a motivational speaker, to be an excellent speaker, somebody who can not only pronunciate well, carry a message, incite excitement from the crowd, and generate a response. And there's hardly out there like Ed who can really make this happen. So Ed, I'm pleased to introduce you and welcome to this show. How are you doing today?
Fine, Corey. Thank you. Let's just make one thing perfectly clear for everybody. That's a distinguished Toastmaster credential, not an extinguished Toastmaster credential, okay?
Yeah, my bad. If I said that. Distinguished, that's for sure. Yeah, definitely don't want to be extinguished.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't want to be any.
Yeah, well, good. Well, but what that means is that you have essentially done some things that not very many people have, and that's why you are sought out from amazing organizations worldwide that want you to train their people, their top talent, on how to become a better public speaker, because it's one of the things that people are really, really fearful about. They're scared about it, and you have a knack for breaking it down piece by piece and how to bring up the level of their talents and abilities while also diminishing their fears and anxieties. So why don't we start off there, Ed? What topic would you like to talk about first when it comes to becoming the ultimate motivational speaker?
All right. For whatever someone is going to speak about, Corey, it could be the secretary at the office giving that 2-minute daily report. It could be somebody speaking at their church, or somebody giving the big corporate presentation. 90%, in my experience, and having trained over 3,000 people, 90% of the world's population, not just the U.S., but 90% of the world's population has a fear of public speaking. If I do a workshop with 10 people, there's always one person that says, well, I just never picked up that fear. And for women, or girls starting, they were usually in pageants of some kind. They were dance recitals or music recitals where they were on stage at a young age and got a lot of positive feedback. For guys, maybe it was in sports or, again, music or art or something like that, where they were on stage and got some positive feedback being on stage in front of that big audience. Most of us never get any training in public speaking.
True.
If we get any, God bless all high schools that have drama clubs and debate clubs to give people training, but most of us don't get any. Of the 3,000 people I've trained, I would say only 15, maybe 20% of people have actually taken that Public Speaking 101 or Communications 101 course. I didn't when I was in college, and you would have had to tie me up and drag me kicking and screaming at that point in my life in order for me to go to one of those courses. Consequently, I graduated from college, went into the military as a young lieutenant, and I really wasn't a leader because I had that fear of public speaking, and just even doing some training with, I was in a postal unit over in Germany for my time in the military, and just speaking to adults, any group of adults. I was great 101, outgoing personality, but put me in front of a group, and I had that fear. My butterflies woke up and started flapping their wings, and it really negatively affected my career. As I got on in my career, I'm 66 now, but as I got on in my career, I became more comfortable. I was a contractor. I was good at selling myself. But again, anytime I had to speak before an audience, those fears kicked back in. And 15 years ago, I joined Toastmasters, and Toastmasters changed my life. Bottom line is, 2 years into my Toastmasters experience, I noticed that there was one thing missing, and that was the hands-on coaching that we get from a good math teacher or our basketball coach, baseball coach, swim coach, ballet teacher, whatever skill or art we're trying to master, whatever skill set we're trying to master. And having that teacher or the coach put their hand on our shoulder, look us in the eye, and say something nice to us because they want to build us up, but at the same time they're going to give us some action that we can take to correct our what we do and improve our performance. And the better the coach, the more efficient and the fun and effective that process is going to be. The bottom line is, most of us don't get any training in public speaking. I've worked with people that have said, oh, our corporation brought in this big time training corporation, communications training, and they videotaped our sales presentations, and I got more out of your workshop in 4 hours than I did in 2 days with that big company. So my approach to everything is just like a basketball coach. There are two reputations that I proudly claim. I'm the guy who makes public speaking fun, and I'm the basketball coach of public speaking. So whether the audience has ever played basketball or not, I don't care if it's ballet or whatever skill, even a good boss who's a good mentor.
Right.
I use that hands-on coaching method, and nobody sits on the bench. Everybody gets out there on the court and performs. And occasionally there's somebody that says, virtually in the basketball parlance, "Coach, I can't do that." Well, a lousy coach would say, "Okay, go sit on the bench. I'll work with somebody else." I'm the kind of coach that, I like to say a great coach, but I'm the coach that says, "No, I'm not going to let you give up. Get out there and let's do it again and again and again." And I challenge anyone in the world, this is my soapbox now, I challenge anyone in the world to tell me how learning to become comfortable and confident in your public speaking skills is any different than learning a job skill or how to play basketball or swimming or riding a bicycle or math or art, dance, music, anything. We learn something, we take action, and chances are pretty good the first time the action's not really great. So the basketball coaches said, "Okay, do that foul shot again, or do that layup, or run that play again." The math teacher's going to say, "Work that problem again." Well, where do we ever get that in public speaking? So what my workshop is about, my training, is that, okay, just speak for 2 minutes. Tell us about yourself. Well, my name is Well, okay, and, I got a brother and a dog, and this is what I do for a living. Okay, that's 15 seconds out of 2 minutes. What stories can you tell? And then we do it again, and we do it again, and we do it again, just like we do with math problems or basketball skills. So the second time we do anything is easier and more effective than the first time. The third time is easier and more effective than the second. And guess what? The fourth time is easier and more effective than the third. So it's just a matter of repetition. I offer the opportunity to go through that model of learning and doing and taking action with some experienced coaching. If someone joins a Toastmaster club, we have 13,500 clubs in 116 countries right around the world. So wherever somebody lives, there's probably one not too far away. And if somebody went to Toastmasters.org, on the first page it says put in your zip code, and it'll give you a list of all the clubs within 10 or 25 miles, whatever you want to do. So Toastmasters, I always make this analogy for Toastmasters in my workshop, because if anybody out there is a Toastmaster, understand that I always put up a clear glass ethical wall, or an ethical clear glass wall. That everything I do on the Toastmaster side is free and volunteer because I'm just another Toastmaster, despite my credentials and experience. I'm just another Toastmaster, and everything is free and volunteer. If we want to talk about my workshop, now I'm Ed Skirka, basketball coach, public speaking, and it's my business. So Toastmasters, going back to that basketball analogy, if you want to develop your skills, you've been out of high school for 10 years and you just want to get into an after-work league with your friends. Not join the NBA, but chances are you're going to go to the YMCA. And you know that on a Monday morning, Thursday afternoon, Sunday afternoon, you can go down and practice, get in a pickup game. Whoops.
Nope.
Did we? I don't see any video.
Here, let me see how we can do that. Let me do that again. Are you there? We seem to have lost Ed. Ed, are you there? Ed, are you there? I don't think I can hear you. Can you hear me okay? Okay. I don't think we can hear you. Try it again, Ed. You there? You are muted. Okay. Can you? Do you know how to unmute yourself? Hold on one sec. I just unmuted you. Hmm. I'm gonna see if I can stop. Hold on one sec. Take out your headphones and put them back in. Um, Here, why don't you go click that link again, okay?
How are we doing now, Corey? You can hear me now? Let me put my headphones back on. Are we all set again?
We're all set.
All right. Oh, well, God bless technology, huh?
Yeah, I don't know what happened there.
All right.
All right,
So,
good. Where were we at?
well, I think I was about to make the analogy between Toastmasters and what I do in my workshop. In Toastmasters, that basketball analogy, you can go down and at practice at the YMCA anytime you want. Shoot some hoop, get in a pickup game. That's what Toastmasters is to public speaking. You know that every 2 weeks, most community clubs meet every 2 weeks. Some clubs meet every week. But you know that and every time you go to a Toastmaster meeting, you're going to get something. You're going to learn something. If you speak, you're going to benefit from it. It's a cumulative experience. It's an osmosis experience. If you show up, you're going to get something. When you come to my workshop or in my training, I'm there like if you want to get good at your skills quickly, the basketball skills, you're going to go hire a professional basketball coach. You're going to go to his workshop. He's going to drill you and drill you and drill you on those skills so that when you leave there 4 hours later or 8 hours later, your skill set, your knowledge, your experience, everything is going to be at a higher level. And that's what my workshop is. I hesitate to say instant confidence. It's almost instant confidence, almost instant comfort. And I've worked with people who are professional speakers, mid-level speakers, and people shaking in their boots. I promise anyone who takes the training, they're going to come to a higher level. And it doesn't matter what you use those for, whether you are a kid giving a book report or that big-time executive having to give a big report or literally anything in between. Anyone who takes the training, I promise them that they will be much more comfortable and confident in the time that we spend together.
Excellent. So basically you're saying a couple of things that, in order to be a paid speaker, you first got to learn about being a speaker, right? Yes. And so you have to be trained. You have to be trained in order to do this. And also you have to have a great coach that's going to teach you how to have the best public speaking and motivation skills possible. Because if you don't have those, nobody's going to really want to pay you to speak because you won't have the skills necessary in order to do that. And the third thing is preparation, right? Yes. You got to be, preparation and repetition. And it's a kind of doing it over and over and over again. So those are the three key elements here of being paid. Being a paid speaker is you got to first be trained, second have a great coach, and third just do it over and over again with that repetition.
Yes, nobody's going to become a paid basketball player without going through the grade school, high school, college, and then into the pros. So yes, you need to get the experience, you need the coaching behind you. And as far as speaking goes, becoming a top motivational speaker, a paid motivational speaker, and it doesn't matter what field you're in, whether you're a doctor training other doctors or whether you're an underwater basket weaver training other underwater basket weavers. Most people, certainly within a corporation, people are trained for what they're supposed to say about their company or about their product, like a sales presentation. Most people are trained in and have the experience to know what they want to talk about or know what they need to impart to their audience. What bothers most people about doing that is, oh, gee, I hate public speaking and my butterflies act up. And so with the training and going over all of the basic skills of public speaking, putting that platform, where am I with my camera here? Putting that platform together with whatever knowledge you have that you want to speak about, those are two key factors there. So yes, you have to have the basic confidence and the experience. Just like basketball, you've got to know the rules. You got to know how to do a foul shot. You have to know how to do a layup. There are basic skills in public speaking too. And the culmination of public speaking skills are developing the stage presence, the confidence to be yourself on stage. It's kind of like a sales presentation one-on-one. The first time you do it, there's probably a lot of, what am I going to say next? Well, you do 5 sales presentations, you're going to be a whole lot better than the first one. And a year later, after you've done 50 or 100, you're going to be really fluid. Well, there's no difference in anything that you're going to speak about, but nobody's going to pay you the big money of a high-paid professional speaker when you're just starting out. Believe me, I did lots of Boy Scout troops and Girl Scout troops and 4-H clubs, and then moving up to adults, $25 and a free lunch to speak at a Rotary Club. You got to earn your wings in the speaking field, just like you do in any profession.
Awesome.
Your first day in the corporation, they're not going to make you the CEO.
Yeah, exactly. So let me ask you this, because you've had many paid speaking opportunities that you've unearthed and uncovered and attracted. So tell me, how does one get a Raytheon or a Bank of America or a Pfizer to be, to have them come to them and say, hey, we're going to pay you to speak in front of our organization, in front of our team, in front of our people? How did that all happen? How did that get hooked up?
It started with, in sales, they say the easiest sale is to a warm lead or a warm market. Right. And certainly having someone working within a corporation who has experienced my workshop and told their boss about it, and so a lot of leads have been open that way, or a lot of my opportunities have been open that way. And then it's like anything else, marketing any product to a corporation, getting in there, sending a demo tape, or with Google Hangouts or YouTube, it just makes everything a lot easier now than it used to be back in the olden days.
Sure.
So.
Got it. Okay, good. Did you want to say something more on that?
Oh, I was just going to say, you mentioned something to me before about being a keynote speaker. A keynote speaker is, again, a very highly paid professional once you have that recognition. And I know someone who is not a real experienced speaker, but the guy climbed Mount Everest. Don't you know he's got a lot of people and organizations calling him to speak, and he's still in pretty much his first year of speaking, because I think he did it about 1.5 years, 2 years ago. So he's got a lot to learn at the speaking side, but if you have a reputation for doing something, you write that book that everybody wants to read, or in my case, workshops where somebody tells somebody else in the corporation, wow, I'd like to go to that workshop too, and develop those skills.
Awesome. Okay, good. So yeah, so it can happen by osmosis, but definitely some marketing aspects to it. And I mean, you're not going to ever get there unless you practice your speaking. And it's so it can happen a couple of different ways, but unless you're climbing Mount Everest, or you've overcome some kind of really major challenge, what about the rest of us? So that's where getting in there and marketing what you do and just being really good at the speaking opportunities really comes into play. And obviously you want the most amount of referrals possible when it comes to this. So the better you are, the more powerful of a stage presence you have, the more of an impact, a deep emotional impact that you have on people, the more likely you are to get them saying, oh yeah, we had Ed at our, speak at our event, and he was amazing. He blew the roof off of, everything else, and his was the best presentation out of the entire event. So, yeah, I'm glad you're sharing all this with us, because a lot of people tend to think that, it might be, they can just decide they want to get paid to be a motivational speaker or a keynote speaker and just go out there and do it. Now, while you can, maybe you have some good luck at it at the beginning. I mean, it comes down to skills, and you got to be able to deliver. And that's where Ed's training boot camps really come into play. So, what would you say, Ed? Give us a couple insights into presentation styles of really excellent presenters. What are some of what are some of the things that really excellent presenters do that I'm sure there's hundreds and hundreds of things, but just give us a few items there that would help somebody who is listening to this go out there and become a better public speaker immediately.
Right. The first one that comes to mind, I mean, above everything, Corey, is passion. You've got to have a passion for what you do.
Mm-hmm.
It's like going to work every day. If you hate going to work, it's kind of a drudge. If you look forward to going to work, or you're self-employed, ask me if I'm passionate about teaching public speaking and doing my workshops.
Yeah.
The answer is yes, in case you hadn't noticed. The thing is, the passion is the key, because some of the basic skills of public speaking are voice variation, eye contact, demonstrating confidence, your movement. And if you're standing in front of an audience and you don't like what you're doing and you could really care less, think back to all the professors that we had in college that put us to sleep for the hour that we were with them. We should be getting rebates from them. And, one of the analogies, one of those stories I tell in my workshop is, Corey, have you seen an automobile race either on television or in person? I think most of us have. What happens when there's a big crash?
Everybody go. Go for it.
They stand up, don't they, to see the big crash and burn. Have you ever paid to go and see a speaker, a singer, a performer crash and burn? No, we want you to be the best speaker we've ever heard and seen. Sure. And it's that's what the audience wants. It's our obligation as a speaker to give them that best show and to demonstrate good public speaking skills, and with all the things I mentioned, and to demonstrate above all your passion and your stage presence, where you have the confidence to be yourself, speaking before 10 or 100 or 10,000 as comfortably as if you were talking. I don't drink coffee, so as if we were speaking one-on-one over a Dr. Pepper at your kitchen table on a Saturday morning. I like Dr. Pepper.
Somebody's got to. Yeah. Well, good. Okay, good. So we've got a couple of those tips. I mean, talk about besides repetition, what are some other confidence builders that people can have when upping their speaking game?
Well, the repetition really is key, because you've got to go out and do it the first time, no matter what your fear is, how strong it is. This is one of the expressions I use. Some people have to face the fear of public speaking. Other people have to face the fear of facing their fear. Other people have to face the fear of facing the fear of facing their fear to go out and do it. So you do that first one, and then you analyze it, just like a sales presentation, or an after operation report in the military, or that team meeting after a game. The coach says, this is what we need to do to improve. Well, you have to do that analysis on yourself. What could I have done better? If you can see a video of something, it sure would make the whole process more effective. And then you say, next time I'm going to open with this line, and then I'm going to bring in this point, I'm going to leave out that point. So how are you going to improve your performance for the next time? For the last 3 years, I'm going to say this in a humorous way, and then I'm going to explain it. I've been in and out of prison for the last 3 years. Yes, every single Wednesday night for the past 3 years in Rhode Island here, I have gone into the men's maximum security state of our state prison, and I lead a Toastmasters, we call it a speechcraft program. Anybody that's been in Toastmasters, it's kind of a community outreach program. It can be taken into a senior citizen center or a business or anything. We just happen to take it into a prison. And we run a 12-week program. We usually work with about 12 at a time. But the first night of the program, those guys they're like deer in the headlights. But I've helped to start 23 Toastmaster clubs at major universities and corporations, and including Harvard Med School and Pfizer. Nice. and some of the other ones. The thing is, it's no different. I don't care if somebody's got 2 PhDs and they're making $1 million at whatever corporate position. When we go in and start a Toastmaster club and we ask them to stand up and say their own name or tell us about their favorite car or their favorite sport, we get that same deer in the headlights thing. Well, in 12 weeks, we take these prisoners from 2 hours each Wednesday night for 12 weeks, and at the end of that program, they're not going to go out and make $1 million as a motivational speaker, but whether they're speaking to the parole board or going for a job interview when they get out, or speaking at their NA, AA programs, they all say how much they got out of the program and how much it changed them. And I saw that happen in my life through my Toastmasters experience. And I see the same thing with other people, no matter what their experience or their level, when they join Toastmasters and start developing these skills. And that's why it's so important to me. One other thing that I see developing there and within Toastmasters, because Toastmasters is a two-track program, communication and leadership. Well, we haven't spoken much about leadership. I mentioned before that when I was in the military, I didn't feel like a leader because I always had that fear of the training and the public speaking. But if you're that entry-level person, with skills, I also do a lot of teaching with Boy Scouts, and I tell them, develop these skills, get confident standing up in front of your troop and speaking to people, and it carries on. And I think these skills should be taught from kindergarten on up, but they're not. So
yeah, you asked me about a time in which I was freaked out about speaking. And I remember the first really stage fright I had. I was in 5th grade. I had my teacher, Mr. Heck. I was giving a report on eagles. I was doing it alone. There was nobody else to help me. All I had was these little flashcards, and I was scared out of my mind. And you're right. I think it should be taught earlier on, and people might have more success with it at a younger age and really embrace it and really come. I mean, when you're doing negotiations or you're doing a presentation, which you're in your job in which you're presenting a new project, or you're presenting the financials, or you're presenting, if you're a lawyer, presenting in court. I mean, these are all ways in which you need to know how to present, or you're presenting your case for a raise. It all boils down to your presentation powers, and this is, it's really important that we do this. So so thanks, Ed. I really appreciate you going over the important aspects of really becoming the ultimate keynote speaker, becoming a paid public speaker, a motivational speaker, a leadership speaker. And I think this is fabulous information. So why don't you kind of tell them a little bit more about where they can hear all about you, Ed, and we'll actually have a link. It'll be, here's the link that you can check out. Okay? It's mojovideo.org/get paid to be a speaker. Okay? mojovideo.org/get paid to be a speaker. It'll direct right to some of Ed's stuff and more of his information, like his public speaking workout and some more details like that. But thanks for sharing, Ed. Is there anything else you want to leave the audience with before we go?
Yes, Corey, something very important that we didn't cover, and that is that fear of public speaking translates into people working with your product, and any internet marketer or anyone who wants to make a video. That fear of public speaking on stage or in front of an audience, it shows up too in front of that big red eye. Yeah. And so many people hold themselves back from making videos. And let's face it, it's one of the primary ways of marketing yourself now on the internet. How important it is to get video after video out there, and a lot of people just not refuse, but they refrain from it because they have that fear. And along with that, some people say, well, I've got to face the radio and not the camera, so I'll do a PowerPoint and then I'll speak behind the PowerPoint. Well, I'll tell you what, if you want me to buy your product, you better have that same passion, that same confidence, and that same enthusiasm when you're reading from your script as you do as if you're on camera.
I got it. Yeah, because what you're saying is very huge, and I want you guys to write this down. These days, public speaking can also mean being on video, and in order to draw in and attract your right crowd, you better use your public speaking abilities to create really kick-butt videos. And a lot of people it's the same fear to get on camera that it is to get in front of a stage of 5 people, 10 people, 100, or 1,000 people. It's the same fear, and just don't let it hold you back. And by being comfortable in your speaking abilities, you will be able to enhance your abilities to do video and video marketing. So that's a really, really important point, Ed, and it's really powerful practice. And thanks for bringing that up here.
All right.
Good. So that's it for today's Mojo show on how to get paid to be a public public speakers, some public speaking tips and information, and from Mr. Ed Skirka, who is really a fabulous speaker, known as the Distinguished Toastmaster, and has been all over the world sharing his information. So thanks so much, Ed. We're going to wrap this up, and once again, mojovideo.org/getpaidtospeak, and we'll put some more information up there on where you can find out more about Ed and his conquests in the speaking realm, and teaching people and corporations, companies, and schools all over the place all about public speaking. So thanks again, Ed, and everybody that's watching this. Look for more updates, and you can always capture more of this show at our YouTube channel. Okay, so we'll see you there, and look forward to the next show. We'll have you on live. Thanks so much. Adios.
Thank you, Corey.